What's up? Hey, why you mad?
I I'm not mad. I'm just saying that every single time it seems you have a conversation these days, like you can't actually take a specific point. You have to like bounce around and take this very like sweeping or very non-committal position that you can't seem to argue from without asking or turning the conversation into being very pedantic or semantic
Yeah, could you
based.
could you give me an example of that? Because it's like hard for me to track given what I do and what I try to do. So maybe you can like help me out
Oh
here.
my God,
'Cause
you're doing it right now. You're doing it literally right now.
what am I doing right now?
You're literally doing it right now. So, like, for a fact, and I don't know why you're disputing this. Every single time you have a conversation with somebody, you have to like nitty gritty drive down the definition to like the origin of the fucking word of whatever it means when it's
I do
ardently clear.
not go to etymology. What are you talking about? The origin of
Yeah,
a word? What are you
I
talking about? I've never show me once doing that.
so again, you're trying to do this again. So when I say nitty
What?
gritty,
Okay.
I mean, you need to find the exact definition of a word, and you can't seem to divorce yourself from the idea that the person is trying to trick you into agreeing with something or using a word that they're trying to like trick you into
That's
believing or saying or
that's
doing
not at
something.
all what I'm doing. When
Then
I
what are you doing? Then what are you doing? Why do you pretend to not understand things?
I don't pretend to not understand things. I think people are like very unclear with their words. So a good example is this like term ally, right? People think they know what they're talking about when they say ally, but it's actually sometimes quite opaque what they mean by ally. And so you,
Okay, so I didn't need to provide you example. You had one on hand because you knew exactly what I was talking
well,
about, and you were
I know. Hang on a second. So I know like stuff that people say, but I don't know what you fucking were pointing to. You were like origins of the word. When do I ever point for someone like give me the origin of a word? So like I don't know what if it's mapping onto what you think, but we can go into the ally thing if you want.
sure go into the ally thing.
Okay. So people will ask like, is this person such and such an ally? And people ask me like, well, why are you asking others to clarify what they mean by ally? It's so obvious what they mean by ally. You've heard such things before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not obvious to me what people are asking when they say, is this person an ally? And so if it's so
Why
obvious, why don't you explain what is the obvious notion of ally that I should be understanding?
what does it mean to you?
Yeah, if you ask me, I can give you like what I mean by it.
What do you mean by it?
When I say ally, when I use the term, I just mean someone who shares a goal with respect to a given goal. They're an ally with respect to overthrowing the monarchy. They're an ally with respect to defeating Nazi Germany in World War II. So that's just the general way in which I use the word, but the word is often used in a more technical sense to refer to like the relationship between states. Sometimes it means whether someone's a friend. And so there's multiple different plausible uses of that word. And you're like, how dare you clarify what someone means? It's so pedantic when it seems to be like
Yeah.
a core concept that people want clarification on is like, well, is such and such person an ally? I'm like, well, it depends in what sense. So, like, can I just know what you mean? It's not like I'm asking you to define the, right? I'm not like SpongeBob being like spending all this time mapping out the. It's like clearly a word that matters to you. There's multiple plausible meanings. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you're like, don't do that. You should just talk about nebulous stuff for no reason. Like, why would
Yeah,
I
we
do
don't
that?
want the nebulous stuff. You never get into well, that's the problem. You talk about the nebulous stuff, you never actually get into the core of the debate because you're busy trying to figure out what the word ally means. Like, do you understand what context clues are?
Yes.
You're right. So when somebody's talking about something and they're using a word, usually you would use the context clues around that
Yes. So
word.
isn't the fact
So
that I'm
that like
asking the question mean that the context isn't enough for me to to know what they're talking about?
so are you crying that you can't have a conversation with
No, just
people?
like, what
You
do you
can't
mean by
continue.
ally? Just say it. Why are you like getting so mad that I would ask that? Just like tell me what you mean by ally. It's very clear, like very obvious. Just answer.
What are you asking me? I thought you were using that as an
No, like
example.
that's the kind of thing where it's not a problem. It shouldn't be a problem for me to be like, wait, hang on a second. So when you ask me, is Nick Fuentes an ally or is Richard Spencer an ally? Like, just tell me what you mean. Like, why is that a problem? I'm not asking you to redefine the English language. I'm not asking you for the etymology of words. I'm just asking what this like very core concept, what you are requesting from me. But you don't want me to clarify that. You want me to be like,
Okay,
oh, just assume it's some random like gestalt. I'm not gonna do that shit.
is Hassan Piker an ally?
Yeah, what do you mean by
Yes or
ally?
no?
What do you mean by ally?
Do you think that he is a
What
good
do you mean by
representation?
ally? What do you mean
Do
by
you think
ally? What
he's
do
a
you mean by
good
ally? What do you mean by ally?
can
What?
you let me finish?
Well, I need you to answer that question first.
Do you think he is an ally in this well, I was about to answer.
Okay.
Do you think he's a good ally in the sense that he
Good
represents
ally.
the demo Do you think that he is an ally in the sense that he is a representation he does a good representation of the Democratic Party in a
No.
meaningful way?
No.
No?
No. Because I just
Okay,
take your
so he's
question to mean, okay, but that's not what people are asking usually. So when you ask, is he a meaningful representation of the Democratic Party? I think what you're asking is like, is he, is he like average or like median? Is he like represent what they're like or something? That's what I
is he a
understand the question.
Democrat?
I don't think he is. No.
So then the answer would be no, he's not. So then your answer would be no.
With respect to your just question you just asked of whether he's a Democrat, but you were asking
So
whether
he's
he's an ally.
yeah, so he's not an ally, is
Well,
what
what do
you're
you mean by
agreeing to.
ally?
I just defined it too. Do you think
Wait,
he is
ally.
an
Wait, no,
ally
you
to
said
the
wait.
Democratic
Well, pause
Party?
right there. There was two different things. The first thing you asked was whether he was meaningfully represents the Democrats, and the second thing you asked was whether he was a Democrat directly. Those are two different things. Which of one of those was ally?
Holy shit, you're just getting right into it, aren't you? I mean,
Wait, do
this
you
is just
realize
like
that
this is the meta conversation. Like you just dove directly into the meta
what's the
conversation.
meta?
This is like
I'm
this
asking
is
what you mean. What do you mean by the term?
I already defined it for you. If you need me to
Which one
define
of
it
those?
again, I
Which one of
will.
those?
Can you not understand the context clues?
You said two different things. You recognize that? Two different things. One is whether someone
Is
is a
he
Democrat, whether they're meaningfully they represent Democrats. That's two different things.
so answer both questions.
I did, but which one is those? Which one of those is ally?
Both? Because apparently it has more than one meaning to you?
I'm asking what you mean by it.
I'm asking you to answer both questions. Is he an ally to the Democratic Party and is he a Democrat?
I'm asking what you mean by ally.
You know what ally
I
means.
don't know what you
We
mean.
just defined
I
it.
don't know what you mean by ally.
Why does it matter what I mean? I'm
Because
asking
you're
for your
asking the question.
interpretation. I'm asking your
Alish,
interpretation.
Alish. I'm asking you what you mean by your own question. You realize that?
And I'm asking you for your own interpretation. So go ahead and interpret it in your own
Why?
special way, and then we can work
See,
backwards.
this is what's so bad faith. This is exactly why you guys do this, right? You
I'm
ask,
bad faith?
yeah, it's
I'm bad
totally bad
faith.
faith. So rather,
I'm asking
yeah,
your interpretation. I'm
than
not even
yeah,
forcing you.
rather than just clarify what it is you're asking, you're like, come up with it yourself. I don't know what the fuck you want to
Yes.
ask me. Why would I just make something up? I don't know if that's what you want to ask.
I'm asking for your interpretation of whether or not you
I have
think
no idea what you mean.
that
You've given multiple different things. I don't know which one of those that you could be
I
talking
have said
about.
the same thing each
No, you
time.
haven't.
Are you unable to give a definition?
Well,
Are you
I
unable
can
to
give you
give I'm not I'm
what
sorry, not
I
a
mean by
definition.
ally. Yeah. So when I
Are you unable to answer the question because you're unable to come up with a definition or a
no,
meaningful explanation for the
I know
word
what I
ally?
mean by when I use the term ally
Yes,
generically.
I'm asking you for your interpretation, so give
So
me your interpretation.
my notion of allyship is a referent to a given goal. So the question after, if I'm using my definition of allies, I would ask ally with respect to what?
The Democratic Party.
Helping it, hurting it?
Obvious what does the word ally mean, Pisco? Does it mean hurting
Yeah.
something?
So with respect to a given goal, that's what I'm understanding ally to be on my notion. And you're like,
Then why are you asking me if it hurts or helps
no,
it? You
because
know the
you could have a
definition.
goal to hurt the party, or you could have a goal to help a party.
That's not being an ally, is it?
No, but I understand. Okay, you're really. I'm going to slow this down for you. I told you that my notion of
Oh, you
allyship.
need to slow it down
I'm
for
going to slow it
me.
down for you. My notion of allyship is with respect to a given goal, and so someone could be an ally with respect to the goal of helping the party, hurting the party. Someone be, an ally with respect to making the party more funny, making the party more marketable. So I'm just understanding ally to be indexed to goals. Now, if you're saying ally with respect to helping the Democratic Party, that's just going to be like, okay, my take on whether or not I think that that's what he wants to do or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no,
But
I don't think
so
that he's primarily interested in helping the Democratic Party. I think he's primarily interested in like controlling it
okay,
or
so he's
influence.
not an ally.
Yeah, but that's just it's trivial. Yeah, he would. I think he would admit to that.
No. What do you mean he wouldn't he would admit to
Yeah,
not being an ally to the Democratic Party.
no,
You think that he would admit that.
what you sorry, now you're baking in the connotation. Now you're baking in the connotation. Yes,
I'm
that's
just repeating
exactly
back
what
what you
you're doing. No,
said.
no,
I
no.
just repeating back what you
No,
said.
no, no, no. Now,
Say it again then.
so
Say it
with
again.
respect to how you're asking the question about allyship, with respect to the goal of helping the Democratic Party, wherein it's someone's subjective intention is how we measure their allyship, right? That's what you asked, correct?
No. No, I was using your definition.
Well, okay, so in terms of helping, are you asking whether he has a positive effect on the Democratic Party?
Yep.
I don't know, is the answer to that.
How do you not know?
Because that seems like an empirical question about whether or not he motivates people to vote for Democrats.
So it's not that you don't know, it's that you refuse to
No, it's like
answer. You can just
I
say
don't
that.
fucking know. Do you know?
You can plead the fifth.
Do you know? I don't know.
Let the record show
Do
that
you know?
the
No, now you're
defendant
being
is
bad
not
faith.
answering the
Wait, do you
questions.
know? Do you know what the empirics say? I don't fucking know.
So this being empirical has nothing to do with the conversation. So you can just answer. You can either
No, but
admit that you
you're
don't
asking
know.
the
You can
question
admit
about
that
what if
you don't
you're
know because you
asking the
refuse to
question
answer, or like, are you
you're asking the
confused?
question about whether what effect he actually has, right? That's what you're asking. Right?
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, is he an ally to the Democratic Party insofar that he wants a
That he
positive
wants
outlook for the
one?
Democratic
That he
Party?
wants one?
Yeah,
Yeah, subjectively he probably thinks that he's going to help the Democratic Party. That's what you're asking.
that's not what
So
you
what are
just
you
said.
asking?
That's not what you just said, is it? You just said something completely different.
No,
You said he doesn't want a
no,
positive
no, no.
outlook.
So if he wants to help the Democratic Party as it is, I would say no. But in terms
I'm
of
sorry, what do you mean as it is?
so
Stop. What do you mean as it
yeah, so
is?
the Democratic Party, as currently constituted, with its current makeup, with its current ideology, to the extent that it has one, right? That's what I mean.
So are you there implying that there would be a change?
Yeah, he wants to change the Democratic Party. So you're just trying to load this allyship thing with so much baggage, but when we disentangle it,
That's not being an
it's
ally
just so
then, is
trivial.
it?
Well, it depends what you mean by being an ally. You see that you get into this cycle again, right? Once we disentangle it, it's just like all of these answers are like very not remarkable, very not controversial, and it's this baggage of the term ally that's doing all the work for you, and you want to live in that. That's what's going on here.
I'm using your simple definition that we already agreed upon at the beginning of the conversation, and you're turning into something
No, no,
pedantic.
ally with respect
So
to a goal. So ally with respect to do we share the goal in trying to reform the party to his image? No. No, we don't share that goal. Now, does he share the goal of wanting to make certain Democratic candidates win that I also do? Yes. Yes. In that sense, they're an ally. In the same way that, in a sense, right, like any kind of crazy KKK person or crazy racist who wants to support a Democratic candidate in a given race is an ally with respect to that goal. But what you guys want to do is like some notion of all-purpose ally, where it's like, are they like friendly? Are they like liars? Are they good people? And so that's what's
that was
muddying
never
the water.
discussed here.
No,
I don't know
no,
who
that's
said
what
that.
I'm telling you. I'm affirming it of you. That's what you want to do. That's what your goal
W-
is.
Wait, you're telling me what my goal is now?
Yeah, I think that your goal is to
So
muddy the
okay, so what
waters.
you're telling me, is that you understand what I mean when I say things, but you don't
No, 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 no,
understand.
no. I understand your motive. I think your motive is to muddy
Like
the waters.
you can mind read me, but you can't mind read yourself to answer a question. Like you don't know.
I don't know how that's responsive. I'm just basically asserting that I think
No,
that what you're
I'm just trying
doing
to
is
understand.
muddying the waters. And the reason I think that, I can give you my explanation for why I think that's your motive.
Pisco, you are definitely the one muddying the waters in this situation
I
because
don't think that that's happening at
I
all.
asked you for your
I've
interpretation, and
answered
for some
everything you said.
reason
I've answered
you keep
everything you've said.
I asked you for your interpretation, and for some reason you keep reverting back to this
Yeah. Do you disagree with
like this.
anything? Do you disagree with a single thing I've said?
Yes, because you're being
What
very
name? Okay,
contradictory.
name the
You're
contradiction.
being
What's the
so you're being
contradiction?
very yeah, you're
What's the
being very
contradiction?
yeah, so basically the contradiction in this case is you said that he has an allyship with the Democratic Party insofar that he has a he shares a goal with the Democratic Party to promote the candidates that will win, right? Am I right so far?
With respect to the goal of promoting certain candidates, he shares that
Okay.
goal, right? So
So
that's
he
essentially what
does
came
not
out.
share that goal. So he does not share that goal by also
Does he want El
stating that
Sayed
he
to win?
wants to change
Does he
to
want El Sayed to win?
but the goal of the
Then now you're
Democratic Party is
equivocating on
not to
allyship.
change.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now you're
So
equivocating
then
on
he's not
allyship.
being an ally,
Okay, so now
right?
do you understand that
At
you're
the beginning of this,
yeah,
do you
so
understand
you're
that at the beginning of this
equivocating on
conversation?
allyship?
So then
So
do you
we're
understand at the
pausing.
beginning
There's
of
an
this
equivocation,
conversation?
right?
Wait, hold on. Do
There's
you
an
understand at the beginning of this
equivocation.
conversation you agreed that he wasn't an ally? Didn't you say
It
that?
it means in what sense? It depends on what sense. It
So
depends in
he
what sense.
is? So
It
he
depends
so
in
I don't
what
know, you're being
sense.
very bad faith right now
No,
because
there's no bad faith.
he said he wasn't
Wait,
an ally, and now all of a
in
sudden he
different senses,
is.
he is and he isn't, right? And you would agree with that. Is he an ally in any sense, Owlish?
I don't think he's an ally at all, no, not in
In,
any sense.
so if by ally, if all someone means by ally is they want a Democrat to win the Senate race in Michigan with respect to that goal, would he be an ally with respect to that goal?
No, he's not
And
an ally.
why? He wants the same thing. That's the
Because
definition.
that person he is promoting is not an ally for the Democratic
Oh
Party.
no, but that's not the definition I provided. You're
Are
being
they
fast and
running
loose.
are they running under the Democratic
Of
Party,
course
or
they are. El Sayed
are they
is.
running
Yes,
with
yes, yes. El Sayed is running
sidebar for
as a
the
Democrat.
DSA?
El Sayed is running as a Democrat. He's not a DSA member.
But Hassan is.
So, first of all, I don't know that, but fine. So what? You
So
see what you're doing
he
is
doesn't
wait,
have equal
you're
so
making it
he
definite. So this is what's your question just perfectly illustrates the whole problem. You're trying to bake into the definition of ally not a member of the DSA.
but
Definitionally, DSA are not allies, just
that
by
makes him not
definition.
a that makes him not an ally to the Democratic Party if his loyalties lie
No,
elsewhere.
no, no.
Like, just
What I'm saying is you are defining ally, the term ally, in such a way to mean if you are a member of the DSA, you are definitionally not an ally. Do you understand that?
that's not what I'm doing, but
That is
cool.
exactly what you're doing. That's so clearly and obviously what you're doing. That's what your question indicates.
I don't understand how you can interpret things that I'm doing, but you can't actually, like, interpret questions that I ask
Oh
you.
my God. Because listen, when you ask me a question like, are they an ally? You're trying to bring in loaded language, right? And so I ask you what you mean by ally, and you're like, what's your definition? I tell you, well, my definition of ally that I'll use generically is aligned on a particular goal, right? The way that Stalin was an ally of America, correct? Agreed?
What?
Was Stalin an ally of the United States of America in World War II?
I don't think he
Post
was.
Barbarossa? Yeah. So he was an ally with respect to the goal of both in the sense of a formal alliance at some point, but also in the sense of they shared a goal to defeat the Nazis. Correct?
Yeah, but I don't think that makes you an ally. Not at all.
Depends what you mean by ally, right?
No, that doesn't make you
No,
an ally.
no.
There's a very broad term, there's a very broad sense, like an idea about what an ally is.
So what's the definition then? You're making a claim now about what the term
Well, so
means.
do you
So what's your
again,
definition of ally?
I'm gonna go
My
back to the
definition?
beginning. I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the conversation where
Yeah.
we said context, right? So we're using context clues to use the word in context. So, like, for example, if I were to use the word run, what does the word run mean?
Depends in what sense.
Right. It depends on what sense you're using context. So if I use the word ally in terms of
Yeah, sometimes the context will make that
in terms
clear.
of Hassan
Sometimes the
Piker,
sometimes
being a
some
DSA
yeah.
member who is promoting
Well,
candidates who are
you know what's going on here, right? So
I know
if
what's
context
why are you
illuminates,
not letting me
uh,
finish?
you because I'm not going to let you. I'm
I'm
not going to let you do this
clarifying
shit.
I'm
No,
clarifying it for you.
pause, 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 pause. If context helps you discern which meaning of the term ally it is that's being invoked, of course you don't need to ask the question. But when I ask the question, it's not clear from context what the person is asking. So just like now, I'll ask you, what the fuck are you asking when you ask if Hassan is an ally? What are you asking?
I'm pretty sure I've made that clear. Is he
Oh,
an ally
really?
to the Yeah,
Hey,
I've said it
chat,
like 5
people,
times.
put in a sentence what Owlish said she meant by the term ally. No one's gonna be able to do it because you didn't say anything. You
I
haven't
did.
given.
And I did. I actually said that he is an ally. I'm going to write it down. An ally insofar as being
We need to know what ally
representation
means, not what you need to
of
apply it. What
the
does ally mean?
party.
No, what is okay? So ally means you represent the party.
An ally insofar as being
What does ally
represent
mean?
good
So you
representative.
okay? So there's a word here, right? The word is ally. I'm asking you directly. What do you mean by the word ally?
I think
Oh,
I've defined it for you many times. And again, this is exactly the reason why I had an issue with what you do, because you're doing this. So, like, this is like basically proving my point that all you want to do is, like, debate pedantry, you don't actually wanna have a conversation.
I do want to have a conversation, and that's why I'm
The
asking
co
you very clearly what you mean when you ask this. Clearly, this term matters to you. The term matters to you, right? This is a key term, right? You're asking me about it. I'm not asking you to redefine the English language. I'm not asking you to, justify the origin of a term. I'm just asking you personally what the fuck you're asking me. Why is that bad faith? It would be bad faith for me.
it is pretty bad.
It would be bad faith for me to answer the question genuinely uncertain about what you're asking. You get that, right?
Hold on a sec.
Okay. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Maybe you are.
Just say,
I
hey,
mean,
ally means dot dot dot. That's how the form of your answer should take. Ally means X. That's how it
well,
should
that's
be.
why I asked for us to agree on a definition we did at the beginning. So
No, but no,
is
no, 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 no. But we clearly are not because we keep running into problems where you're rejecting the notion either
are
implicitly
you
or by your questions.
so are you arguing with me right now over the definition of a word?
No, no, I'm asking you. No, I'm not. I'm literally not. I'm asking you to provide what you are asking, right? I'm not saying that there's a correct definition. I'm just asking what you are invoking. So I'm not
Are you
arguing you about
asking
the.
me,
Yes, I'm asking you to clarify what you're asking.
is Hassan Piker an ally
By
insofar as being a good representation of the Democratic Party?
is that what ally means? Being a good representation of a Democratic Party?
It is in this word, it is in this phrase or this sentence it
Okay.
is.
So the answer is no, and the reason it's no is because it is not. He's not like a median or average Democratic person. He doesn't represent the central nucleus of the ideology. I would argue of most people who would refer to themselves as Democrats, and therefore he's not a good representation. That's just a very trivial answer, and there's no controversy there, right? It's just like
So
very
by
clear. It's a very clear question and a very clear answer. So there's no
so
problem.
now the question's clear. I've asked this question
It's
15 times
clear
now,
when
but
you just
now
define your
it's
term. Yeah,
clear.
when you define your term, it's very clear. That's why I ask, right? Because
How many times have I asked this question and you
no, 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 no,
suddenly
no, 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 no. Don't try it. Don't fucking try it.
try what?
No,
Like point out that
you
you just like all of
began.
a sudden like
No,
had
no,
like
no,
this
no, no,
Einstein
no.
like
It's not Einstein anything.
amazing
It's
moment
no. First of all,
where you
we've already had this exchange. I don't know if you forgot, but you initially invoked two different concepts of allyship. The first being good representation, and the second being whether they are a Democrat. And I answered both of those already.
no,
So there's
that
no
was just a
so
definition. I
there's
mean,
no
that wasn't a
there's no
definition. That
eureka.
was just a word. That was just a question I asked.
Well, I assume that you were applying that to ally. Were you not?
No, I was just
Oh,
asking.
oh,
I was
okay.
just asking, is he a Democrat?
Okay, so
Yes or
that's a different
no?
question than are they an ally, right?
Yes, is he a
Okay.
Democrat?
So those it's not entailed, right? That when you ask are they an ally, you're asking are they a Democrat, correct?
No, those are
Okay.
two separate questions. Two
Beautiful. So
separate
what's
questions.
what's the issue then, Alish? Because when you clarified, no problem, I answered it right away.
Did you so can you go ahead and refer to the title of the
Debate about
Twitter
debates with
space?
Alish.
Debate about debates with Owlish. So what are you doing right now?
I don't know, talking to you?
You're debating about definitions of words.
You're not tracking, right? Like I'm not fighting you on this. Did you hear me be like, that's the wrong definition of ally? Not correct. Did you hear me do that?
Right, but you keep disagreeing with the way I'm using it
No,
in context of a
no.
sentence. Like, I had to restate the question, like, 6 times. No, actually, I had to restate it way more than that. But it seems
Now
like
you're
you're
confabulating.
resigned. It seems like you're very resigned to answer a question. So let me go piece by piece here. Would it necessarily be that if Hassan Piker is not an ally to the Democratic Party insofar that he is a good representation, we already established that is a
Uh-huh.
no. We already established that is a no.
Yeah.
Why should we then, as Democrats, vote for anybody he endorses?
Because there's no entailment that we shouldn't, right? There's nothing that you presented that would motivate us not to. So for example, I'll give you an example, right? You would agree on your notion Liz Cheney is not an ally. She's not a good representation of the Democratic Party, correct? Yes or no?
You would have to give me
Come
what you mean by that.
on. You have to give me that one. Liz Cheney is not a good representation of the Democratic Party.
I'm asking you about
No,
Hassan
no,
Piker
no.
and
I'm
Abdul Al
demonstrating. I'm
Sayed.
demonstrating why it doesn't follow what you just said by giving you an example.
It
Right? It doesn't follow that because they're not a good representation that we shouldn't vote for whoever they endorse. That does not follow. And the way I'm showing that is with an example. So I'll ask again: Is Liz
but he's
Cheney? Wait,
running,
I'll
but he's
ask again, and I'm not going to get distracted. Is Liz Cheney a good representation of the Democratic Party? Yes or no?
no.
She endorsed Kamala Harris, didn't she?
Yeah.
And so, should we not vote for Kamala Harris because someone who's not an ally endorsed her?
Yes, we should.
So we should. So it's not entailed, in other words, your rule that you just crafted that because someone who's not an ally on your notion of ally endorses a candidate, that we therefore shouldn't support the candidate they endorse.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
was she representing Kamala Harris?
No.
Right. And
So now you're
what
adding
is
new
Hassan
conditions.
doing?
So now you're adding
What
new.
is Hassan
So now you're
doing? What is
adding.
Hassan
So now you're
doing?
adding new
What is
conditions.
Hassan
So
doing?
now you're. So now you're adding new conditions.
This
In other
you
words,
just did a falsification. That's what we in the
in
that's
other
what we
words,
in the industry
so
call a false
so
equivocation.
in other words,
Objection.
knowing someone's not an ally on that notion isn't enough to know that we shouldn't support whoever they endorse. Right? There's something else that's doing work
Do
here.
we do we have to define the word ally again? Are you good on that or
No,
what?
it just seems like not a very useful word to like motivate our action. It doesn't really seem to do anything.
But
Who cares?
I think we also agreed that Hassan Piker isn't even a Democrat, right?
Yeah. So wait, I'll ask the question: Is Liz Cheney a Democrat?
I actually don't know if she is. I
Bruh.
think so.
She might be an independent now, but certainly there are some independents.
No, she's a Republican.
I know she was a Republican for sure. I don't know what her current status is, but at the relevant time of the election, she was a Republican, right?
I think there's something to be said that like a Republican would actually endorse Kamala Harris and not somebody who is representing other members of the Democratic Party. I think
That's
there's a
just
lot to be said
such
about
a
that.
like derail. Like who cares? Like that. Yeah, it might be
I think
of.
a lot.
It might be of
Okay,
note.
first of
Yeah,
all, I
it's of
think a
note.
lot
Yeah,
of
it's of
people
note.
care.
It's of note. Yes,
I
it's of
think a
note. Yeah,
lot of people care.
it's of note. Yeah. So
So I'm having a hard time understanding why we, as a Democratic Party, should be putting Hassan Piker on the forefront of
who
anything other
said we
than
should?
like
I don't think we should.
I don't know. You seem to be doing a lot of sweeping for him,
Yeah,
honestly. Like you can't seem to
I think
give.
you're just deranged. What do you mean? Who said when have you heard me say Hassan Piker should be at the forefront of everything we do?
So do you know that this is something that Trump does is when he is disagreeing with somebody instead of actually like having a disagreement, he has to resort to petty insults such as calling somebody deranged for no good reason.
Wait, the reason I say it's deranged. Okay, are you really upset that I said deranged? I'm saying
No, I'm not
there's
upset.
nothing I
I'm
have said
just
who's that's like Hassan should be at the forefront. Where are you getting that? That's like make believe.
it but he is, and you don't seem to have anything negative to say about it, right?
Says you. Says you. What are you talking about?
Right. So do you think that we should vote
El
for
Sayed?
Abdul? Yeah,
Yeah, and
why?
so
Why?
because I want him to win over Mike Rogers.
No, no, no. I meant in the original election. Why? Why over Stevens?
Oh, in the primary?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I thought that he was going to be better in terms of potential votes on court expansion. I think that he'd be better on the Iran war. So yeah, that's why.
You think he'd be better on the Iran war?
Yeah, be more
That
against it.
okay.
That's why, if you're asking me. And I didn't really see a.
I don't think anybody is for the war.
I didn't say that Haley Stevens was for the war
Well, then why? Okay, so then what's the point of saying
because there's a
that?
bunch of votes that are like close related to the Iran war, but aren't the war. Where I think he'd be stronger. For example, funding. For example, votes on potential drastic congressional action, impeachment votes related to the
For
war.
what?
I don't know
Congressional action
exactly
for
what's
what?
with respect to the war
So then why did you bring it up?
because that's an issue that matters to me. The Iran war really matters to me.
Right, and it seems like Stevens would have done the same thing.
I'm not convinced of
So
that.
why, Abdul?
I'm not convinced of that.
You're not what do you think she's lying?
I'm not saying that she's lying. I'm just saying I just think all else equal, he seems to have more fiery rhetoric, more against the Iran war than she does. And she is.
Why?
Just based on what I saw, I can't at this moment. I'm not going to be able to produce it to you in real time, but that was my impression, as well as the
That was your
yeah, that's my impression based on their relative campaign pages, their different speeches, their conversations.
Yeah, I don't know how you're interpreting that, and you're making this, like, very strong interpretation of
Okay, but this
something
is neither here nor there, right?
based
Like
on
this,
based on mouthfeel of
we're
whatever you're
not
saying.
we're not supposed to be here
But
having a conversation about the thing
but you
itself, right?
can't have a
Wait, we're not.
conversation, but you
Yo,
can't
yo, hey,
agree to a
hey,
definition,
chill, right? So we're not here to talk.
right?
So we are fine using your definition of ally. It just seems like quite trivial. Yeah, okay, fine. Ally means good representative. On that notion, yeah, Hassan is not an ally on that notion. But like, what's the so what of it? The reason why you're having issues right now is what you want to do is bake into your definition of ally some other prescription that you haven't done the work for and you haven't prepared for. That's what's going on.
Sounds like you're writing the fan fiction, so I'd like to hear the next part.
Well, I guess what's your issue with how I approach these conversations? You seem very exasperated.
Yeah, and you just proved pretty much exactly why I'm exasperated, because I think it's very clear about what I'm asking, and what you're doing is you're being ignorant to any of the facts until they align exactly with what you want the conversation to go. Like, you kind of want to railroad the conversation to be in such a way where you quote unquote win, instead of actually like coming to an understanding, because not every single conversation has to end with
Well,
somebody winning.
to understand someone and what they mean and to like have some sort of mutual understanding, I need to like know what they're saying. So would it surprise you to know that Hutch gave a completely different account for allyship than you did?
I don't really care.
Well, you probably
What
should. If it's so
why are you
obvious,
invoking
I'll tell you
Hutch?
why I'm invoking Hutch. If it's so obvious and everyone knows exactly what they mean when they say the term ally, then why did you have a completely fucking different notion than Hutch?
I, because I'm not Hutch,
Yeah, so
maybe?
maybe I need to ask someone what they mean when I'm having these conversations because there's no shared notion. There's no one is
I've
using.
asked you a very direct question, by the
What
way.
was the direct question?
Do you need me to repeat it
Yes, I do.
again because
Yes,
you
I
don't
do. Yes, I do.
remember
I don't
it? Do you
remember.
not
No,
remember
I don't
it, or do
remember. What was
you?
your question?
I said, is Hassan Piker an ally insofar as being a good representative of the Democratic Party?
Yeah, and I said no.
I think that, so my definition there was confusing to you,
No, it's not confusing.
or
I understand it.
you understand
Yeah,
it.
but it
So
needs
how long did
clarification.
it take for you to
No, two
how long
seconds.
did it
Two
take
seconds.
how long
2 seconds. But you clarified it, right? 2 seconds. I need to ask you before because I didn't know before you clarified.
I've been saying the same thing. I have not clarified anything. I've just repeated the question multiple times. All of a sudden you
Okay.
understand. So
So,
that's
so
something that
you
you're
know you're
doing to be
wrong,
bad
right? Because
faith.
like you before was like you were refusing to define it. You're like, let's use your definition. I have a different notion of that
Yeah,
term.
I asked for your opinion.
Yeah, so it's not the case that you've been consistent this whole time. You've been wanting to play with different definitions, and so yeah, I don't buy. And this is all recorded, so people will be able to walk, like listen how this conversation progressed. And now you're like, this is my fixed notion. I'll just promise you, I really do promise you that this is not a common notion that people will bring when they talk about allyship. Is the
What did Hutch say? What did Hutch say? Because I don't know.
much said with respect to demonstrated value. That's what it means. An ally means demonstrated value, which is obviously a different notion than whether someone's a good representation of the party.
So we have different definitions. I don't know. Why did you even bring up Hutch? Like, was that supposed to be a gotcha, or
It's
what?
to show
What was
you
going on
that it's
there?
not this like very intuitive notion that everyone has, and that sometimes you might need to ask what they mean by the question, right?
And then I explained it, and you
And then
asked
it was
what
very
that
clear.
meant. And then
So
I
so
explained it,
hence
and then you
why I
asked what that
asked.
meant. And then I
Hence
explained
why.
it, and you
Hey,
asked what that
Owlish, do you
meant.
understand now why I asked the question? Then
No.
okay, this is like Patrick Wallet level. All right. So you understand that there are multiple plausible meanings of this term, and that even Hutch understood it differently than you, right?
Nice Trumpism.
Right? You understand that, right? Multiple plausible meanings. Hutch meant something different than you, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the context in which he said it?
Our conversation, the context of our conversation. But you agree with that, and now you're like asking, then why ask the question? Well, the question asked like answers itself. The reason you ask is precisely because there are multiple plausible meanings, and because on multiple occasions people give conflicting different answers on what they mean.
Okay, so you just don't understand context.
That's not at all what I said. The context in that situation didn't make it clear.
It doesn't matter what you said, it's what you
I don't
mean.
mean that context doesn't matter, obviously. If I understand through
No, no,
context,
no, no, that's not what I said. I said you don't understand
I do
context
understand
at
context.
all.
I understand context.
You don't. How, how do you understand context if you had to ask me 6 times about the
Yeah.
one
Yeah, because you're
my
because you're very
definition?
unclear and you're resistant because you think like I'm leading you somewhere, and so you're just being oppositional for no reason.
I I I think that's what you're doing, buddy.
I don't think that's what I'm doing, but
You don't think that's what you're
No.
doing? You don't think that me asking you a very simple question multiple times in a row, in which I
I
even
answer
gave you
right
the
away. I
grace.
answer right
I
away.
even
I answer
gave
right
you
away. I
you
answered right
didn't.
away.
Oh, that's
I
bullshit,
I
Pisco,
answered
come
right
on.
away.
That is
I answered
absolute
right.
fucking
Yeah, when you
bullshit.
asked, is he a good representation? I'm like, do you mean just like some sort of central tendency? And I said, no, he's not a good representation on that view. It's very obvious. I
Some
answered that right
what?
away.
Some what
Some central
tendency?
tendency, some median, some average, some central nucleus of representation. Do you understand?
I don't think you understand.
Okay, that's the issue. The issue is I don't understand. Okay.
Yeah. Can you read the title of
Debate about
the
debates. You were supposed to raise an issue about how I debate or something, or talk about these conversations. It's so nebulous. It's so new, like it's too nuanced or something. It's too something. I don't know what your issue is. And yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure. So is this like some sort of like way for you to like feel like you've accomplished something because you win a
no, you
debate
commented
or
on my. Maybe someone said "fuck Pisco." I'm tired of all these fucking conversations. I was like, "Whoa, can you just like chill?" And you're like, "You make conversation bad." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then you said something else that was kind of indecipherable to me. And then I'm like, "Do you want to talk about it?" That's what happened.
it was indecipherable to you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest. You're not the most clear speaker or writer.
I'm not the most clear speaker or
Yeah,
writer, and yet you agreed to have a conversation with
yeah.
me? Why?
Because I want to make sure that we understand each other, and that
Let me read what I wrote. I said, "Imagine you imagine you get hung up on the word run and then you don't want to go down and then you want to go down the rabbit hole of all 645 meetings until you reach one that disagrees with your worldview. You don't debate topics, Pisco, you debate
yeah, I don't know what the
concepts and it
fuck that
makes it
means. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, because you're not debating the the topic of Hassan, you're
The
debating what
concept of
allyship means. The topic, the
okay,
topic, the
the,
topic.
the top.
You're
So first of
debating the
all,
concept of
so first of
allyship.
all, the topics we there's no like set topic. I like kind of sprang this conversation on Hutch out of the blue, and so there's no like planned thing to talk about. But also to the extent that understanding a concept is necessary to talk about the topic, whatever that means, then clearly you need to understand the concept. Agreed?
Yeah, but you
Okay,
make the
so
entire
so it's
conversation
so it's a it's
about
it's
the
actually very important. You would agree to know the fucking concept, right?
yeah, but you make the
Okay, so
entire
then what's the fucking
conversation
issue
about
then? What's the problem?
you, well, I again, you make the entire conversation about the concept and not the
To the
topic because the
extent
bulk of
that
the
it's
conversation.
necessary and no further. If I don't know what you're asking, I'm going to ask what you mean. That's the most like sensible thing in the world. And you're like, "Don't
So we
do that.
were
Don't fucking do that." What are you talking about?
do you recognize we haven't been able to move on past this to actually discuss why Hassan Piker is bad for the Democratic Party overall
Why
because you're
not say
still
that?
hung up on
No, why not say
concepts?
that instead of ally? Is Hassan, because this is what happens out. Okay, now I'll tell you the real answer. Because when you say, is Hassan bad for the Democratic Party? I'm like, well, are you asking like whether he motivates voters not to vote for Democrats? I don't know about that. That sounds like an empirical thing. And then you guys don't really have any evidence. And so then it's like, oh, we don't want to do that. Okay, shit. Then what's being bad mean there? Just like bad ideas? Okay, I'll grant that. Peace will grant that. So instead of being clear, we'll just keep it vague by using terms like ally in the tent in the coalition, and we'll just get angry when Pisco tries to bring clarity. That is what's going on.
So, did you understand the first question?
You've asked what are your first question? The question about is he a Democrat?
No, the question about him being an ally insofar that he is a good
Yes, I
representation of the
now
Democratic
understand.
Party. Did you understand? So
After
you don't
after
understand
clarif
the inverse of that question.
whether he's
You don't you
whether he's a good or bad representation, he could also be useful. I'm not saying he is. He could be. They're not inconsistent. They're not mutually inconsistent ideas. Someone could be not a
so
good
you do
representation, but
understand.
also useful, or also like Joe Rogan might be useful, even though he's not a good representative of the Democratic Party.
What is the word? What do you mean by useful?
What to whatever purpose, right? Instrumental to an end. Do I have to explain? I know the other day I had to like explain more, less, and equal to. Do I need to explain like a purpose and something that is useful to an end?
He said that is absolutely hilarious when we just I had to explain every single concept of what allyship was to you, and you're getting mad that you need to define a word?
I'm not telling you that I'm mad I didn't find it, but most people have a shared notion of what like a purpose is, some sort of conscious object that might even be a primitive.
And
I
most people have a
no,
concept of what the
no,
fuck
no, wait. We
context
have
is in a
so
conversation. No?
actually no, right? And I just proved that, right?
No.
Well, I at least proved that you and Hutch don't have the same notion.
Okay, I'm not Hutch.
And
Again,
in our
just because right, and you
definitions, you recognize that there's multiple plausible meanings, including one that's more specific to states, including an ally with respect to a given purpose, including ally in a general
yeah,
like friend sense. So
yeah,
like,
that's why I asked a very specific question, didn't
whereas
I?
like
I didn't
an
just yell the word
intentional statement, someone's
did I
purpose, I
just
feel like
yell
that's
the word
pretty
ally? Did I just yell the word ally and say go and then ask you to figure it out, or did I ask a
pretty
very
much you
specific
did
question?
until I pushed you.
I what are we listening? Are we having the same conversation? Like, who have you been talking to the last 25 minutes or 40 minutes
Pretty
to
much
where
you.
I wasn't asking where I was asking the same question over and over
Okay,
and
let's
over
start
again?
fresh. I'm willing to start fresh. Do you want to start fresh? Let's start fresh.
No, you already answered it.
All right, let's start fresh. What's your issue with how I talk to people?
My issue with how you talk to people is that instead of focusing on the topic, you focus on concepts.
But if in the course of talking about a topic, I need to understand what someone's saying, clearly it's relevant. And by the way, in that conversation with Hutch, he like realized there was an issue with the concept he was invoking. Did you watch that debate where he was like, where I asked him, hey, are you sure that by ally you mean demonstrated value? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, well, what about Joe Biden? He's like, ugh, I guess that might be an issue with my logic. Do you remember when that happened?
No.
Okay, well, I encourage you to go to the discussion where that happens, right? And what does that show?
Why?
Because it shows that what I'm doing is effective, and that's why it's pissing you off. It's showing
I
that some of these concepts are maybe not totally fleshed out.
Bro, I don't care about the conversation you had with Hutch. This is a conversation with me. If you
What,
wanna
are
have a
you not
conversation
commenting on that like unhinged Kiwi's post about me and like trying to say that she's a queen for saying what she said? Isn't that kind of what you're doing?
What? What are you talking about? Kiwis? What I
Mantis. Did you see what I was? Responded to my
Yes, I
post.
responded to that,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Kiwi is a
Yeah,
term
because
for
I
a person from
agree
New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you agree with
Okay.
that, right? You know that post was about my conversation with Hutch, right?
Yeah, I imagine that
Oh,
it was,
sorry for bringing up
but
the Hutch conversation. I thought it would be relevant. I thought that would be
yeah, but
important
you're
context.
acting you're acting like me and Hutch are the same person
No,
and
no,
that
I'm not.
we
I'm
both
literally doing the opposite, saying you're different people with different notions, and I'm highlighting the fact that you are being different people diverge on
then why did you
notions.
then why did you ask me if I knew that Hutch had a different definition, as if it was relevant? If we're different people
Because
talking
it
about different
because it was
things.
relevant. Why'd I bring it up? And
I
you're like, as if it was relevant. Yeah, because it was relevant. It was relevant to bring that
I
up.
so are we gonna argue about the word relevant now? What is relevant?
By relevant, I mean has a tendency to increase or lower the credence of a fact of consequence. That's what I mean by relevant.
Yeah, that didn't really make sense. Can you explain it again?
Well, I take that to be a kind of primitive. You either get it or you don't. That one. You don't.
Really?
So you're presenting
I'm
as
being
though
primitive?
allyship is just as inscrutable as the notion of relevance that I just provided.
Yeah, it seems kind of inscrutable to me
Oh,
because it seems
okay,
like you're using relevance. It seems like you're using relevance in a way that I disagree with.
okay, okay. Then what's the? Do you understand what I just said, regardless of whether relevant the term is applied to it?
No, I just don't understand the way you're
Do
using
you
the
know what it
term.
means to make something more likely?
No, I don't know what that means either.
Okay, so you don't know what more means. So I guess I should. It was too much to assume that you knew what more likely meant because you don't even understand what more means. Remember when I
No,
asked?
I don't
You're like,
understand what
what
that
does it mean
means.
to invest more? What's more?
Yeah, I don't know what that
Yeah,
means.
and I was
You're gonna have
like,
to explain it.
like it's kind of hard for me to explain more, less, equal. So I guess it was a bit much to assume more likely. Like that's clearly the next step. That's lesson two, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have to explain that to me again because I'm kind of lost. What does that mean?
So you know when you have one apple.
I don't know anything about apples. What is an apple?
See, this is your little meta performance. You actually think this is what I do. It's crazy. It's actually like I don't know who. Oh, I don't know who. Who is it that got this mind virus, this Pisco derangement syndrome in your head?
It was me, Pisco, because I had a conversation with you and it basically turned into this. So I think it's every single person who has this conversation with you
Oh, you mean
kind
the
of
conversation we had on stream? That was my fault? The doctor conversation?
your fault. What do you, I didn't say
That
it
the
was your
reason that we
fault.
got into whether or not it was a comma versus an M dash, whether or not it was a doctor
No,
versus a MD in dancing, that was my fault. That was my lack of communication skills.
no, Pisco. I'm just saying in general.
So, so why are you getting this impression that I'm like a bad faith debater? And I like, where does that come from? Because I want to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty easy. So at the beginning of the conversation, we agreed on something. And then halfway through the conversation, you changed your entire notion and definition on
What?
it to because yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
we
Okay, explain that.
okay, so we agreed that he was not an ally for the Democratic Party,
With respect to Democratic representation, yeah, I agree. He's not.
but you said that he was an ally because he shared
With respect to the
a
goal,
Democrat.
yeah. So I'll give you an example, right? Stalin was an ally with respect to the goal of defeating Hitler post Barbarossa, and Stalin was not an ally with respect to freedom in the world. Agreed?
That does not
Do
make
you?
you an
Do
ally
you
to the United
I'm asking
States.
whether you
A
understand it.
self, a
I'm asking
self.
whether you understand what I just said. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand it,
So you can be an
but
ally
you're
in different
conflating.
senses, right?
No, no, not you are not an ally to the United States because you have the same goal. That does not make
No,
you an ally
no,
to the
no.
United States when you're actively
The
working
whole
against them.
point is the
You
different
need to
notions of the
understand the
term ally,
context.
right?
The
Someone could be an ally in one sense of the word and not be an ally with a different sense of the word. So maybe Stalin is an ally in the formal sense of what it means for an international, a country and an alliance, right? Maybe that's an ally, but not ally with respect to ideological conformity. They're just two different senses of the term ally. And so when someone is an ally in one sense and not another, there's no contradiction.
that he's they're not an ally. They're
Oh my god,
self-motivated.
this is like what's wrong with you? Are you listening to
So
what I'm
like
saying?
do you understand that a self-motivated goal is not allyship?
In virtue of what? Are you saying it's not the common definition?
So if both of us want to go to the store and get a gallon of milk and we go to the store together
Yeah.
and we both are going to get that 1 gallon of milk, are we allies in the sense that we both want that gallon of milk?
No, we share a different goal. You want the milk for yourself. I want the milk for myself.
Oh my gosh, so you do understand. So you
What do you
understand
mean? What are you
that
what
it's
are you
not
talking about?
allyship
No, no,
when
and
it's
their
not
goals are
allyship
mutually exclusive.
When
Wait, that's the
Stalin
person.
wants to
No,
defeat the
wait a
Nazis,
second.
that's not the same thing, is
Wait,
it, Pisco?
your example totally crushed you, right? In that example, they have mutually exclusive
Did it
goals.
crush
Yeah,
me?
no.
Did it
Just answer the question. If someone wants the milk for themselves and the other person wants the milk for themselves, and it's the last milk, you guys have mutually exclusive goals, right?
there's
Can you
one
answer the
Nazi
question,
party.
Alice? Jesus Christ!
There's one Nazi party. One
Can you just answer the question? So if there's a little gallon of milk left, right? One person wants to get it, another person wants to get it for themselves. Then those are mutually exclusive goals. They can't both be obtained, right?
only one person can defeat the Nazi party,
Yo, answer
Pisco.
the question.
I did answer the
So
question.
you can't both get the
You
milk,
just
right? You
hijacked you
can't both
just
get the
by the
milk. Wait,
way,
can you both get the milk,
right, so
Alice?
you
Can you both get the milk?
no, you can't both get the milk, so
Okay.
you
Okay.
understand
Perfect.
so you do understand the point I
Now,
was
okay. So
making, you
now,
just pretended
maybe I
not
think this
to.
grocery store thing. This is actually very productive. So, imagine that you and I, we both want to get the milk for our household, and we have the same household in this crazy hypothetical where we listen. I don't. Let's just work with it, okay? In that hypothetical, we would share the same goal. We're both looking for the milk for the same purpose, right?
That wasn't the hypothetical, but thanks
No,
for abducting and ruining my hypothetical.
I'm building off of it. I thought it was useful because it was, I think, having some impact, right? So
Ruin my
if we share a household and we both go for the milk, we're actually allies in finding the milk. This is like the Black Friday stuff, right? You go to the store, you both want to get the same TV for the household. You send one person to one TV aisle, you send another to another, whatever the thing is, and you have the same goal, right?
Is this what happened in Russia or no? Yes or no?
I, we can go to the stuff.
Is this what happened with Stalin?
We can,
Because this is the reason I brought this up. I wasn't just talking about going to the
okay,
grocery
now,
store for
if you
fun.
answer this one,
This
I'll address
was
the Stalin. Okay, if you we'll build to it. Just you agree with
why
that one,
are we
right?
building?
So in the context,
Sure.
okay, got it. In the context of World War II, there was a unity of goals, right? Defeat the Nazis. That was a goal that we shared. So we're allied with respect to that goal. In addition to being allies in the more formal sense, we're allies with respect to the goal of defeating Hitler. Correct?
You just said that we weren't allies
Oh my
because we
god.
both are we're self-motivated, so no.
I never said that. I raised this example to show.
You never okay, you're telling me you never said in this conversation that that you were not allies in getting the milk because you're
No,
self-motivated.
no,
You've
no.
never said that?
No. Both are the goals are different. That the goals are about one's
The goals are the same. They both want the
no,
milk.
there it's different senses of one in the milk for one's consumption versus the other's consumption, where the consumption is mutually exclusive. You understand that? They're
It's the same
different
thing,
goals. No,
Pisco.
no, they're different.
It's the
So
same thing.
if you want to win the lottery and someone else wants to win the lottery, right? Now,
You're not allies in that, yes or
yeah,
no?
you're not allies because you actually don't share a goal, right? You share the goal of you wanting to win the lottery, and they want them to win the lottery. You get that?
Yeah, Stalin wants to win the war and United States wants to win the war.
They want different things in the post-war environment. I'll grant you that they're not allies with respect to that, but they're allies with respect to the goal
The
of
point,
defeating
the
the
point.
Nazis. That's the
Welcome to the point. Thank you. Welcome to the
so no.
point.
This is just showing you that you can be an ally in one sense and not in another. That some people are
I
allies.
don't that was never in
Okay,
dispute.
but
That
it
was
seems to be
never in
right because
dispute,
me
by the way.
granting that Hassan is not an ally with respect to one thing doesn't commit me to him being not an ally in another sense.
He's not an ally though, right?
It depends on what you mean by ally.
Yeah,
See, this is
you agreed
because
no.
you want to have the loaded baggage of the connotation. That's what you're doing. That's exactly
Yeah,
what you're doing. With respect to
You already agreed to no.
your idiosyncratic definition of allyship, I agree he would not be.
Okay, so you agree he would not
On
be.
your
So
idiosyncratic notion of allyship, on your private language, he would not be.
what do you mean my
You're
private
using
language?
private
What am I
language. Ally does not mean.
what
Find me a definition.
I'm
Find me a
sorry.
definition of
Are
ally.
you like fucking are you sovereign
Wait,
citizening my language? Like my language has like
no, I'm saying it's
its own mode of
proprietary. I'm just saying
travel?
it's proprietary.
I'm not
I'm just saying it's
talking.
proprietary. Hey,
I'm
hey,
just
hey,
using my
hey,
voice in a
Alish,
shared
Alish.
space.
I'm just saying that your usage of terms there is proprietary. Go look up ally. Find me someplace where it's like an ally is someone who shares like a median amount of characteristics with you. Like that's not usually allies. Oftentimes are like very different from each other. So find me in. That's why I say it's proprietary. It's unique. It's not something that's like. And that's fine if you want to use it. I'll answer the question on if it's proprietary. No problem with that. But just acknowledge that like it doesn't commit me to anything on the ordinary usage of the term.
Uh, an ordinary use of the term?
Yeah, like the words you
So I
find in the
already asked you this.
dictionary.
So oh, so we are arguing about
No, I'm
definitions.
not arguing with you on your definition. I'm just noting that don't try to load with using your proprietary language notion of allyship anything with that like turns on these other more common notions of allyship. Don't try to load me with that shit. Especially because ally is like a very
Okay.
broad and general word.
Okay, so I'll ask you again, since you disagree with my usage of the word,
No,
what does
I just say it's
allyship
not
mean to
common.
you?
I just don't think it's common. I already answered that
You
question,
don't
but
think
I'm
it's
happy to do it again. Do you want me to do it again?
so you
Okay.
yes. What does ally mean to you?
So I understand ally to have multiple dominant usages. One is in the context of states, where an ally implies some sort of formal international military pact, right? Either a defense arrangement or some other kind of trade agreement, ally, right? Implying some allegiance, okay? In the more colloquial sense of the term, I understand allyship to be, some sort of connection with respect to a given goal, right? A given purpose, where there's it's an understood shared goal. That's how I understand the term as it's used. He was an ally on my team, right? We try to do this or that, right? Like he's an ally in the workplace, right? Or he's an ally to the gay community. These are the ways that often like connections or some kind of like shared purpose.
Good. So is Hassan an ally in your definition?
It depends how that's indexed, right? So he's not a state, right? So the formal alliance shit doesn't work because that's just like it's not applicable. It's almost like a category error or
So
something.
Hassan is in a state,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So in the more general sense, I would say he's an ally with respect to some goals, I guess, but not others, right? So with respect to getting Al Sayed elected, he's an ally with respect to that goal, definitionally.
So what is his goal?
He has many goals, one of which is to elect Al Sayed, and that's the goal with which we're an ally.
Right. So his goal is
By
to
the
get
way,
El
you're not an
Sayed.
ally with that goal because you don't want him to win. That's what you said to me.
Okay.
So
So
he's more of an ally than you on that goal.
oh my god, no way. So the connection so he had but it seems like he has his own goal, right?
He, I'm sure, has many goals. Yeah.
Do you it's no, it seems like he has his own goal in getting him elected, which is what? Which is what do you think?
Well, I'm sure there are reasons that inform the goal that we don't share, but we nonetheless share the goal of the thing.
So he's an but we don't but he doesn't have a shared goal, does he?
With respect to getting Elside elected, definitionally we share the same goal. It's the same
No.
outcome we both want. No,
No, I don't think he does at all. No,
you
because
you don't
he's
think so. I want to hear you say he doesn't want to get Elside elected.
no, that's not what I meant. I said
Oh,
he doesn't have
that's
the
what I
same
meant.
he doesn't have the same out he doesn't have the same goal for why he
Yeah,
wants
no, I
him
grant
elected.
that, but that's fine. Yeah,
So
that's compatible with what I just said.
so being that he has other ulterior motives as we already defined as being doesn't make you an ally because you have an ulterior motive that then does
It
not
depends
even
in
make
what
him an
sense.
ally.
It's not inconsistent with allyship if there's a shared goal of some kind.
So we agreed that you're not an ally if you have an ulterior motive and
No,
you
no,
don't
no.
have
I
it.
literally just said the opposite. That it's not incompatible with that.
It is incompatible because we already
What's the
defined that.
contradiction?
We already defined that
You said it's
because
incompatible, so that's a contradiction. What's the contradiction?
you said that you're not an ally. You said that did you say that you're not an ally when you both go to the store and are motivated to get the
Because
milk?
you have different goals then. Different goals.
Right, right.
No, no,
And
no. But that's no. That's
what
no,
is
no. Stop.
Hassan Piker's goal? What
No.
is Hassan
That's a you.
Piker's goal?
That's a shared goal, right? Electing one person, El Sayed. That's the same goal.
For
Getting milk
what
for your family
purpose?
versus getting milk for another family is a mutually exclusive different goal.
For what purpose? I'm going to ask it again.
Yeah, to get El Sayed elected.
What is the purpose of getting him elected? What is his motive?
That's irrelevant to the question about whether
It
that's
is
the
not
goal. It is
irrelevant.
irrelevant. Yes.
What is the purpose of Hassan getting El Sayed elected?
Yeah,
Is it a
it's
shared
irrelevant.
goal?
It's irrelevant to my notion of allyship
Why why is it?
because it's
It no,
not
it's
contained in the
not. No, it is
definition.
not. You said he was an ally under your
No,
definition. So I
with
want you to
respect to
know
the
I
goal,
want you
with
to
respect to the
answer.
goal of electing Al Sayed,
I
yes,
want you to
definitionally,
answer why. I want you to
it's
answer what his
tangential.
motive is.
It's not relevant to the inquiry.
Can you not answer the question?
Well, I don't have. You have to motivate me to answer it. Why? If it's not relevant to my notion,
So you can answer the question
I
or do you
can.
refuse
I
to
can
answer the
very
question?
easily answer the question, but I don't want to
So
entertain you.
you
I don't want to.
don't
I don't
want
want
to
to.
answer the
I don't want to
question.
humor you unless you motivate me to
So you
answer
don't
it.
want to answer the question because you know what the outcome is, and you know for a fact that
No,
his
because I know
goal
it's
is to
irrelevant,
get
and
him fucking elected
no,
for the DSA.
no, no,
And
because it's
because he's a
irrelevant.
member of the
I don't want
DSA,
to
you
humor your
know that you're
irrelevant
wrong.
tangents. I don't
You
want to
know
humor
that
your.
you're
I don't want to
wrong on
humor.
him being an ally.
No, I don't want to humor your irrelevant tangents. It's not necessary to my notion of allyship.
It's not
That's the
irrelevant.
notion you asked about. My notion. I'm telling you, it's not relevant to my notion of allyship, and that's why I'm saying I don't want to humor that. Now, if you want to grant that on my notion he would be an ally with respect to that goal, then we can move on to why for sure.
No, I'm not granting. I'm not
Oh,
granting
okay.
something that you refuse to answer
Well, I mean,
because
it's
it
very
seems like you
silly.
don't want to
It's very silly if
engage.
you're asking about my notion of a word, and for me, and to not accept like the different things that make up that notion, like, and to just like reject what I'm saying when you're asking me about my own notion. It's like bizarre
I find it very silly
and
that you can't
asocial.
agree that you I feel it very very nice Trumpism. I find it
Wait,
very
what was the Trumpism there? Asocial is a
oh
Trumpism?
the insult that nobody asked for. So I think it's very telling that you can't actually engage with pushback on the
What do you
fact that
mean?
we made a very specific definition and goal or a very specific definition as to what allyship is. And when I kind of pointed out that his goal, his motive is not for the Democratic Party, but is actually for the DSA party.
That's compatible
It
with the
seems
notion I provided.
no, it's not.
It
It's
literally is.
incompatible. Well, remember we already defined
So are
that
you using
having a
my notion or
shared
your notion?
goal So, no, we agree. You agreed that
Yeah,
if
we
you
share
have
the
your
goal.
own self,
The
if you
goal is
have
to
an
elect
old
Al Sayed.
self-motivation, if you have your own self-motivation, if you're self-motivated towards a
Those are different
specific,
goals.
yeah, he does have a different goal,
No, no,
doesn't
no,
he?
no. The milk example. In the milk
Eh,
example, one
Well,
person wants
yeah,
the milk for their use, and the other person
they're
wants the milk for their own use.
and Hassan had wants him elected for his
Yeah, but we
use,
both want him elected. You don't want me to buy the milk. I
for
want to buy the
his
milk. So okay,
use.
so here's the very easy thing, right? If here's the it's so clear, and like if you don't accept this, you're just gonna look crazy. Would some
Oh,
yeah,
nice
yeah,
Trumpism. Crazy.
yeah,
I'm
you
gonna look
will. You
crazy, everybody.
literally will. All right, so here's the question.
I'll
So
literally look
for the two
crazy.
people going to the store for milk, if one person buys it, is the other happy?
What does that even mean? Is the other person happy?
Yo. Are you
What do you
serious right
mean? Are
now?
they?
If there's two people, both want the last thing of milk, and one person goes in there and buys it before the other one, is the other person who doesn't get the milk, are they happy?
What does being happy have to do with anything?
It's a evidence that they don't share the goal, right? Their goal was frustrated because someone else bought the milk that they wanted.
The Democrats are not happy,
No, can you just
Pisco.
answer the milk thing? Because that seems to ground you better than the other more complicated things.
This is crazy. This is actually crazy. You actually do the Trump thing.
What's the Trump thing? Insulting?
Insulting when like it's not necessary to do
Why don't you
so.
just answer
Wow,
the
that's
question?
actually crazy.
I'm
That's
I'm trying to get you
actually
to
crazy.
answer the question, right? So for the milk example, you have people going to buy milk. One of them gets there first, and the other person's like, "Dang it, my it's ruined. Someone got the milk." Right? You
It's
understand that? Because
ruined.
yes, their whole plan was ruined because their goal was for them to get milk, and so they're upset when the other person buys the milk. Hence, they didn't share the same goal. However, when El Sayed gets elected, I will be happy, right?
Yeah, but the other Democrats won't, and that's the point.
You well, so-called Democrats.
What do you mean so-called?
Well, you don't want El Sayed to get elected. I don't know.
You don't
You
think
want
that
a Republican, I guess, to win.
well, I would have preferred that the moderate candidate won.
Oh,
I
you
would
didn't get your
prefer
perfect candidate. So sad. So fucking sad. And so now you're like, better let the Republican win. Like
it
these lefties.
e what? Like the lefties? The
Yeah, the
lefties
lefties,
want
like, they didn't get their perfect candidate. And then they cried about it.
what who are you talking about?
The lefties who complained about Kamala and Biden.
There was nobody else. They just straight up just didn't vote.
I mean, like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Like, you're actually acting as though the people didn't complain. The lefties didn't complain about Kamala and Biden.
Yeah, I'm sure they did,
You're
but they
just
just
being oppositional for no fucking reason. You know, that was like a gimme that you should have been like, oh yeah, I understand that, and they didn't feel good when they did it to me. And
I don't
you're
think
like resisting me for no reason.
you seem to be getting very angry. Are you
No,
okay?
it's like one of the most insane conversations I've ever had, and I've had a lot of crazy conversations.
This is the most insane
It's one
conversation
of them. It's
you've
top
ever
10 for
had.
sure.
Is it because you're not winning?
Yes, that's why. It's because I'm not winning. That's why this is insane.
Is it because we decided that maybe Hassan have it does not share an equal goal with the Democratic
Oh,
Party
equal
to
goal. Now you're modifying it. There's more. Add more adjectives. Good ally. Right. That's another one you used.
yeah, so you think that his self-motivated goal of getting El Sayed was for the DSA and not for the Democratic Party, which we all kind of stand for. I mean, we all like the Democratic Party,
Yeah,
right?
but I'm just going to grant you that he cares more about the DSA than the Democratic Party. Why do you think that that's an own? I have no problems and compunctions about acknowledging that. You think I'm
But
scared to? Oh, you're scared to admit Hassan cares more about socialism than the Democratic Party. No shit.
yeah, so in other words, we can say that maybe we should take a second look at the candidates that he actually backs
I took a
because
second look, a
maybe
third look, a fourth look, and I liked what I saw, and so I did my due diligence.
so okay, so you're DSA then.
No, I'm not DSA. What the fuck's wrong with you?
So you're DSA. I mean, you looked at his policies and you said, yeah, and then Hassan
You know
backed him
he's
and you're
not
like, "Oh,
DSA, right?
okay."
He's not DSA.
No, but he's being used by the DSA party, is he not?
Oh, okay. So now every Democrat who votes for them in either the primary or general, they're not real Democrats, they're DSA.
No, I didn't say they're
Okay,
real
so then why
Democrats
am
are
I
being
a DSA?
forced. I think so.
No,
Yeah, I
why?
think that's what you're.
If all those
Why are
thousands of
you?
Democrats aren't DSA, why am I?
Because you're sweeping very
What am I
hard.
sweeping for? What did I say that you disagree with?
Uh, you very much conflated the idea of
Oh,
allyship, and like when
that's
I
the
made a
opposite of
very
what I
very
did. I
clear.
was trying to disentangle. That's literally the opposite of what I'm doing with these questions.
I don't know, Pisco. You're doing a lot of I don't understand, but if I did understand, this would be my answer. But I actually do understand because I can explain
I'm
what
going
you're
crazy. I'm
saying.
literally going insane. I must be crazy then. Listen,
Sure,
I
sure. Do you want to bring somebody else up? Maybe somebody else
not
can
really.
help you. You don't want to bring anybody else up. Maybe somebody else can help like disentangle it for you. I don't know.
Not
You seem to be
really.
very confused talking to me. If you don't want to talk to me, there's other people that maybe
The only
can
person I'll
help.
do is North
Yes, bring North up, please. Yes, bring
for the
North.
content. Everyone
Perfect.
else, you're wasting your breath. I just want North. All right, North.
Perfect.
Let us know when you're on.
I know North had his hand up.
Hello?
Hey,
Can
what's
you hear
up,
me?
bro?
North,
Can
my
you
man.
mic test, mic test. I'm using very shitty Wyoming internet right now,
Are
so I
you
don't know
You're
if this is
good.
door
going through.
dashing right now? I just want to make sure.
No, I just got back from hiking. I did a
Oh,
20-mile hike
good shit.
and yeah,
Was it enjoyable?
been out. As enjoyable as, climbing a couple mountains can be, I guess.
Well, I'm glad that you're at least going and experiencing grass.
Yeah. You should join me sometime. You could deal with some grass touching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um okay. Give me one moment. I'm getting some things in a motel room, and then I will unmute.
You're in a motel.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's
Is a
Wyoming. What do you
motel
think?
not good enough for
I'm gonna
you?
I
get
didn't know where.
deported
I thought you like lived. Are you? Why are you in a Wyoming hotel?
He
because
doesn't
I
live in
was
a
hiking
Wyoming?
in Wyoming.
Oh, okay, cool.
I
I don't. Okay,
okay,
it's irrelevant. What do you want to say?
okay. Um, Holistically speaking, I would not consider Hassan Piker to be an ally of the Democratic Party. His goal is to promote the DSA, and in my opinion, we have to. Sorry, I forgot you're on your whole definition thing. By ally, I mean he will not holistically support the Democratic Party.
That's what you
He
mean
will
by the
only
term
support.
ally. The definition of ally means not holistically supporting the Democratic Party, right?
Wait, hold on. Say that one
That's
more
what your
time.
definition of ally is, there, right?
By ally, I mean that they will holistically support you. That is what I'm using as ally
Okay,
here.
then I agree. He's not an ally on that notion.
Yes. Okay. Do you think that Hassan Piker represents certain values that are incompatible with the Democratic Party?
Certain values, yes. By which, and by the
Okay.
way, incompatibility here, I'm cashing out in terms of ideological proximity, and the notion of the Democratic Party is some gestalt median ideology that I'm discerning. So yes, some incompatibilities
Sure.
there for sure.
Yes. Okay. Would you consider anti-Semitism to be part of this?
Part of the values by which he's incompatible, yeah,
That are incompatible with the Democratic Party.
sure,
Okay. Um, okay. So if we have a candidate like Abdul Al Sayed, who and campaigned with Hassan Piker,
yeah.
I think he's gone on his live stream, or they were like at least together on some like campaigning events. Um, Abdul Al Sayed has been informed of the controversial statements that Hassan Piker has made, and he refuses to make a definitive
No, I think he
condemnation
did.
of him. Do you think he did?
Yeah, of the statement, yeah.
Okay. Is there a different statement besides the one that he posted on Twitter
Not that
that
I'm
I'm not
aware
aware
of. He
about?
also indicated he wouldn't, I think, campaign with him, but I think that's fine for me.
Hold on. Do you realize there's a difference between
Yeah, you're saying
politicians speak of,
definitive,
oh,
a
this is my,
definitive renunciation. What do you mean by definitive renunciation?
as in Hassan Piker campaigned with Abdul Al Sayed, and
Hey,
thus I
hey,
would
hey,
consider
North,
that
I'm not
almost
going
to
to
be
play
a
these monkey
tacit.
games with you anymore. I'm not going to
Okay,
do this
sure.
fucking shit. Answer the fucking question. Hey, what do you mean by definitive? Definitive in
By
that sense.
definitive, I mean explicitly saying the terms "I condemn Hassan Piker"
Yeah, no, he
or
didn't.
something
No, if
similar
that's
along
what
those
you mean by
lines.
definitive, then no, he did not do that.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
why should
Do we
he?
consider this?
Why should he say those exact words? Everyone knows what he means.
Do we not consider anti-Semitism to be incompatible with like the rest of the Democratic Party?
I don't know why you re-asked the question. Why did you re-ask that question?
Well, you
Because
said
you're
that yes, it is
clipping.
incompatible.
Because you're clipping. Because you're clipping. Because you're clipping. Because you're clipping. Naughty, 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 North. Why are you doing this? Why are you re-asking questions?
Am I cutting? Am I cutting out? Hello? Can you hear me, Pisco?
I can hear you. I'm just asking why you re-ask questions. You're like, is anti-Semitism
Well, I'm
incompatible? I
asking
said
because
yes.
okay, so
And then you asked it
okay,
again, and
let's
I'm
get
just
a
like,
common
why are you
definition.
doing that?
What do we mean by incompatible, Pisco?
I already
Because
told
what
you.
I mean by
Wait.
incompatible,
Okay,
as in
I'm not.
like
Okay,
cannot,
if you can't
as
remember,
in they.
okay, so you need to go to get Andrew Wilson's, and Andrew Wilson is terrible at debating, but you need to go get a seminar because
Okay,
however bad
Jesus
he
fucking
is,
Christ.
however bad
Okay,
he is, you
Pisco,
need his help
Pisco, Pisco,
desperately.
Pisco. If
Remember what I just said to you just like 5 seconds ago? I said on my notion of what it means to be incompatibility, I said ideological proximity with respect to some nucleus of thought within the democratic gestalt. I said that. And you're asking again, which means you didn't listen, North, right? So you need to listen, right?
well, it feels like this definition
No, no,
doesn't.
no, 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 no. Don't tell me what it feels like. You need to listen, don't you? Because I did, and there's a tape of this, right? This is being recorded where I explained, I
Sure.
saw this happening in real time. I foresaw it, and I told you exactly what I meant by incompatible. And you still asked the question, which means
Okay, then
you're not.
let's go break down your definition then to figure
No,
out
so,
what
so
we're
no, we're
having
not
be.
breaking down shit.
Okay,
So
so if we're having a contention with the
north,
definition of
we're
what it
not
means to be compatible versus incompatible, and your definition is
north. Until you acknowledge that you're not listening, then we're not going further. I'm not going to talk with someone who's not listening to what I'm saying. You get me?
sure. I listened. I made an assumption based off of your definition that incompatible meant that that if there was some sort of difference in opinions, that we would fall under this definition, that you would then split ways, or you would actually engage in
No,
some sort
no,
of
no,
different
no,
action,
no,
because
no, no,
it feels like
no,
incompatible
no,
under your
no, no,
definition
no, no.
means that
Removing him.
that if
Sorry,
you
sorry,
have
sorry. No, okay. So my line is I want people to listen to what I'm saying. And just having him confabulate and just say random shit and like this is what I understood is I'm sorry. North, you need to listen to what I'm saying. This conversation is totally over. I'm happy to engage you in the future, but only when you start to listen to what I'm saying. Owlish, do you have anything else you want to sort out with me?
He is a listener. It
He's
says
no,
so
he
under his name.
definitely was not. He definitely did not then. He definitely did
It
not in
literally
previous
says
conversations.
listener under his name. It
Oh,
says listener under his name.
funny.
What's the
Yeah,
problem?
sorry. I was on a roll there, so I kind of went a little crazy.
Can you define role?
This has been a great conversation. Guys, clip it. Love you guys so much. Stay cool, and I'm gonna go into downtown Tokyo and everyone else enjoy their nights.